Hi again. This is Herb Gilliland, Herbert the Third. I was doing some commentary in part one on my video that I uploaded that went moderately viral. I wanted to correct a couple of things I said, minor errors. One is Eris is a Greek goddess, and she had a Roman name, but it wasn't the same. So a little thing I said wrong. Keep in mind these are unscripted, so I'm just sort of talking to you conversationally, trying to convey various, minor details of this stuff. But I also never got to the comments, and I wanted to talk about the comments and my experience of YouTube, kind of like some feedback, or if you work at YouTube, or if you don't work at YouTube and are just interested in what I feel about what I am claiming to be my invention. It is my invention. I came up with this idea. They lied to you. That's what I'm saying. And I get criticized a lot, and people are skeptical or whatever, but, I'm not going to stop telling you this because it makes me feel weird when I succumb to basically what is their obscurantism or whatever. Their obscuring of the truth to gain fame and notoriety. I mean, if you are a fan of YouTube and know who the founders of it were, you're most likely one of the people who helped make them who they are. But I wanted to clarify a couple of other little factoids about YouTube. Number one, YouTube did not go viral on its own. It took like $9 million worth of investment to make it viral. It was not a small thing. It would have grown a lot slower. Perhaps had I started it earlier, it would have slowly grown to that size over time. But it's just that they put a lot of money into bribing people to use the site in the beginning. They would buy them an iPod or give them an iPod, and that was how they raised awareness. Of course, in public talks, Chad said, no, we never advertised, but that really was a form of marketing when they gave away iPods. And so he's misleading you. There's lots of little misleading statements that he makes, and I'm sorry that I don't have a convincing bit of evidence such like Chad saying, no, I didn't invent it or whatever, but there are little under-the-breath comments that Chad makes to kind of leak the truth out from himself because of the pressure that it builds up in his rather evil little mind there. So I just wanted to point that out, that you have to sort of look for that little band of truth in the big lie that Chad is, and Steve and Jawed less so, but Steve and Chad have perpetuated. If you look at Steve Chen, one of his talks in the very beginning, this woman tells this story of how Steve Chen disappeared on her. And, I mean, don't you think that's a little odd behavior? And then he comes up with this kind of thing, oh, there's crowds of people, I got lost there. But I wonder if that's true or not. I really find that to be kind of a lie, too. So I think you have to look for those things. And I know what I know. I can't put you inside my brain in 2004 and have you see the truth, but the truth is that I contacted these people with the hopes of getting my dream out there, and the website did well, and it did everything I expected, and they sold it for a price that I set. And I believe that while they will not, publicly admit to it, I think that Sergey and Larry and Google's lawyer and Marissa Mayer and some of the other people who are up in the echelon there agree and know the truth about the beginning. But obviously they don't want to spend any money or lose any business over it, so they're not going to say anything publicly, okay? It's billions of dollars at stake, it's thousands of people's jobs, and on top of all of that, it makes them look bad in history, and no person who is into that sort of legacy is going to allow it to be tainted by some controversy. So you can go on being skeptical, and you can say Herb is not the person, or you can accept that there may be things that you just don't know and that they aren't saying to you. And based on all of the interactions I've had with those people, it seems like with Sergey I had a chance maybe, but the truth is that I never got a chance to work for Google. And had I worked for Google, I would have spent my 20% maybe building this company called YouTube. I probably wouldn't have gotten as much money, and there wouldn't have been a big price tag on the company. But that's just the way life is. There's nothing I can do to change that. I think that Sergey and I talked, and during that period of time, I think that he sort of conveyed that he wished things had been different, but that ultimately this is the way it is. Keep in mind that Chad, Steve, and Jawed were all millionaires the day that they started this company. They had received large bonuses shortly before that, and they basically took control over my invention. They lied to me from the very beginning. Maybe not the very beginning. The very first conversation seemed like everything was going my way, but by the time they got back to me, they had been coached into becoming these predatory assholes because they work for some of the biggest corrupt people that I know, who really have no morality. I mean, at the high levels of richness, there really is very little morality, and Peter Thiel is a great example of that. There's some other folks, Rolf Botha. I mean, Peter Thiel, why do I say that about him? Well, because Peter Thiel has publicly stated that he didn't think women should ever have been given the right to vote. I mean, if you don't think that that's a little bit different than your point of view or your value system, then, I don't know, maybe you're more like him than me, but the fact that they wouldn't let anybody who liked basketball work for their company, on one hand looks like they're just making a joke, but on the other hand, they're actually kind of ostracizing pretty much any ghetto youth who dreams of being a basketball player. Anybody who just enjoys basketball. President Obama, I mean, those are the people that he's saying, I don't want to help. I refuse to help those people. At the same time, Peter Thiel is trying to build plastic cities on the toxic ocean. And I just think that his heart is in the wrong place and his mind is, who knows. But he's a billionaire. He has a lot of power. Probably by saying that and publishing this on YouTube, I lose an opportunity, but I don't think that opportunity is really there anyway. I've given all of those venture capital companies a real chance to help me. They would not help me. In turn, I would have helped them thousands of times what they had helped me. But that didn't happen. They didn't allow that to happen. They made it an insiders club. They publicly stated many times that people have to get rich in Silicon Valley. They have to go to Silicon Valley. They said that throughout the last decade. When Groupon got big, this was the first time that they've started. Well, Chad admitted that maybe you don't have to be in Silicon Valley, and people maybe didn't like the fact that they were saying you have to go to Silicon Valley, like they made Mark Zuckerberg do. So the idea is that they played that game for as long as they could get away with it, and now they're changing their tune because, well, now it's about other places. But I think that it'll still remain, very centered on that area because that's where the richest people in the United States live, in California. And the richest district, of course, is where Google is based, and now where YouTube is. And in addition to that, you have all of that Silicon Valley area that is just brimming with lots of old money that funds companies that are like YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. And I'm from the Midwest. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is a rather small city. It's comparable to, say, Cleveland or, maybe Minneapolis, Minnesota. We certainly are not a top-tier city. We're not New York. We're not L.A. We don't have the same values that those places have. We don't have the same problems that those places have. And we certainly don't have the same opportunities that those places have either. Or maybe lack thereof, depending on what side of the train tracks you grew up on. Anyway, I want to talk about commentary in this video. So this is the commentary on I Invented YouTube commentary. And basically, I just thought I'd take you through some of the strange things that have been said about me. So I find out that, like, here we go, big words there, freaking liar. So, you know, you can kind of tell the mentality of people who are commenting. Please note that most of the comments, and in fact, if I go all the way back, most of the comments occurred after this video got most of its views. In fact, if you look at the Insight statistical analysis of I Invented YouTube, you can see here the video. You can see here that nothing happened when I first uploaded the video, but then, you know, in 2000, so I uploaded it in November of 2008. A year later, when Michael Arrington wrote an article about it in TechCrunch, it jumped up to about 20K of viewers. And by the time iJustine got involved, which was July 10th, 2009, like 90% of my views had already happened on this video. And she just did this to kind of, she wasn't famous yet, so she hooked into my video so that she could gain views. And now it's been a couple of years, and now this remaining small sliver, everything from basically here to here, that's all of her viewers, mainly, and myself, of course, viewing the video, but mainly her videos, so her viewers after that point. And most of the comments occur within this period of time. So the difference between there and there, very small number of people, and they're all coming from iJustine's channel, and they're the ones who are making the comments on this video. And I probed some of them. So they'll send me this horrible thing like, some of them are serious. They have real questions. You can't prove it. Why did you even call it that? And then they're making, so she made fun of me. That was the whole thing. She made fun of me and that. And so therefore anyone who comes to the channel is now basically, you know, insulting me and making fun of me, and that's not very nice. But you know, in the beginning it was, why did you put these videos up? Are you hoping Chad will see it and send you a check? And you know, those kinds of comments, and for some reason they got deleted, so I had to, you know, here I am talking about the comment, or maybe it was a private message. And anyway, I started posting these things, you know, but then it becomes about iJustine after that. And it's just something to keep in mind when looking at this video, is that no one really said anything in the beginning, and then but everybody watched, and then after iJustine came along, suddenly we had this influx of iJustine users, and most of them have been commenting in the last year, which is this period. And I know I just said that, but you know, I don't know what to say to these people. Like, they can't spell. They're mean. They call me like a fag and like worse. Are you a psycho? Are you crazy? You're fucked up. Seriously, a lot of people had the idea. Nobody, yeah. Listen to this mentality. A lot of people had the idea for YouTube. One person decided to actually do it, and that was you. No. I don't understand that mentality. You know, I'm responding to them saying things like, you know, no, what you just said is not true. What are you talking about? You're crazy. And then some of them are just, you know, rotten toes. Okay, I can't believe you're still crying about this. I'm not still crying about this. I mean, I'm going to complain about this for the rest of my life, but, you know, I don't understand that statement. I mean, I'm a bigger dickhead than he originally thought. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And it turns out that mainly the people from iJustine's channel happen to be girls. And so, let me show you a private message here in YouTube. These are personal messages from people who want to talk to me about the I Invented YouTube. So here we have Rexer9. And Rexer9, this is Rexer9, he's 21. So he was 20 when he sent this. He hasn't uploaded any videos. He's just there to watch. And let's back up a second, see what he has to say. Let's see. Well, for some reason it's not there, but... Oh wait, inbox, let's go to that. Well, he basically said, like, I bet you got beat up a lot in high school. I don't really see what that... Here it is. I'm sure you got the shit beat out of you mentally and physically in high school, so I'm glad I could help you remember that. Well, what a nice guy. He's really come with some positive message there. I'm being facetious, of course. Thanks a lot there, buddy. Then we've got Rex the King. He tells me to fuck off. because he originally wrote me some like ridiculous message or comment that was mean. Here are the comments here. Let's see what he had to say. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Personal messages. So we had this. There was this one thing. Okay. Daniel Steven TV. Okay, let's take a look at their channel real quick. Again, no uploads. They seem to be into Cat Stevens. I actually kind of like Cat Stevens, but whatever. They talk a lot about Cat Stevens. We happen to be apparently related friends, or we have some related friends and subscriptions. Anyway, we could have been friends, but instead, Daniel Steven writes, look, if you did invent YouTube, do something about it. Not sitting at a computer arguing and posting vids, and of course he spelled arguing wrong. And the truth is that, you know, I did that, and had you read any of the links that I provided to you on my channel, which go to my blog and everything, I spent 7 months while my father was dying. You know, that happened, that wasn't planned, that just was happening. I spent 7 months going to the court and talking to people and my attorney, and I also spent the 7 or 6 years developing the concept. I spent the time talking to Chad. I spent the time worrying and fretting over this problem, dealing with Chad's bullying, dealing with my own inadequacies and being poor and not having the money to be able to figure out how to do this on my own, dealing with all the personal conflicts in my life. So this person is just very superficial. They've come here, they wanted to say something. It looks like the first thing they wrote was, how am I... Oh, so I wrote them back, and I said, why are you doing this? Like, you're being a bully. Stop bullying me. And they said, how am I bullying you? I'm 12. You obviously didn't invent YouTube. You just want attention. Okay. And then, yes, but you said I was bullying. I'm freaking 12, you moron. So I guess people who are 12 can't possibly bully people. So I wrote back and I said, well, please stop bullying me. And they said, weirdo, you need help. Then I wrote back one more time and I said, I don't think... I didn't realize you were 12, but that's kind of weird. Don't you think it's a good idea to maybe not bully me? And they wrote, okay, this is shit. You need help. Nice talking to you. Goodbye. And then I wrote back and I said, well, I don't think I need all that much help. You're certainly not being very helpful. And that's when we got to, look, I'm a girl, not a dude. Just saying, and I'm a kid, so I don't think before I speak, okay? And I was like, okay. And she's like, I'm 12, not 20. Well, if you go to their site, it says that they are 20. So they're not 12. Or they lied. I don't know. They probably lied to be 18 so they could see the 18 stuff. So maybe they are indeed 12. And I was like, well, I don't understand. Why do you have to bully me? And they were like, no, at the time I didn't understand what to put because I thought you had to be over 16. This isn't about me. And I was like, what do you mean it isn't about you? And she's like, what the hell? Or what does that mean? And would you please leave me alone? I'm a kid, and you keep sending me messages. It's kind of weird. And of course, at this point, I stopped sending messages because I guess I felt it. What's the point? Here's some other ones. But the thing is, so many people already play YouTube, and a change in owners would change too many things at the same time, so it could cause problems. So they agreed with me, but they didn't know what they said that it would be confusing if I was actually the inventor and people knew because they wouldn't be sure who started it. And I was like, oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. I'm being, again, sarcastic there. I don't think that has anything to do with it. It's already confusing enough because Jawed and Steve and Chad fought over the money. So let's see what else we got here. We have MD Hollow. They write something. Well, considering I see your evidence you aren't lying to me, I don't think you would go through all this trouble to lie to YouTube for fun. No, that would be too much work. Why have they not given you money when it's rightfully your idea? So this person was actually very nice. Let's see what they said the next time. I got your back, but when you get rich, you better throw me some cash. Well, I'm probably not going to get rich from this, but, you know, I'm probably not going to throw you some cash either unless you work for me or if, you know, I don't know. If you want a drink, I'll buy you a drink. Well, just keep me updated on the status of everything. Well, that's great. And I'm sure I'll sort of do that, I guess. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, I'm a Weird Guy by Lazy Sandwich. Let's look at Lazy Sandwich's channel. Once again, Well, we do have some uploads, so that's good. So this person is not a complete consumer of YouTube. They weren't really that mean. I don't really remember what they said, but I think they said something maybe in the comments of the actual video that was kind of crazy, but we'll see. Here we go. So I was arguing with somebody about Royal Rife. Royal Rife is this weird inventor guy who invented these things that probably don't work. They're probably scams. Loved your channel. I don't know if that's even real. I am nice to people sometimes on YouTube. I go around and talk to them. Sometimes I debate things like the Royal Rife thing. They're like, the leading killer in America is the medical industry. I don't know about that. It's probably the plastics industry or perhaps the tobacco industry. Flashden. Hey, thanks. Yeah, alright. Somebody I met through Flashden. They sell Flash components for websites. I own several websites, so that's why I was talking to them. Okay, here we go. Aaron Rodriguez TV. Let's see. Who is this person? Well, he's a gamer. He's like 23. He's probably 22 when he wrote this.
No snow. Just like you. The further in the winter we go.
And apparently he's making money. He has no uploads. So once again, a consumer of YouTube, not a contributor. It seems like though, Aaron Rodriguez TV. It sounds like he's starting his own TV network, you know, but he's not. And let's see what it. Okay, your idea. So this is what he writes. Your idea. First of all, you have. Do you have any proof that you invented the concept of YouTube? I don't think so. Well, I had some proof, and I wanted to subpoena other proof, and I wanted to get depositions to prove things further. I had a plan. I had a legal defense, or offense, rather. You know, I had a goal that I thought was a tangible goal, and that attorneys agreed was probably a tangible goal as long as we didn't run into any stonewalling defenses like we did. If you did, why would you go through this concept instead of telling other people? Why wouldn't you go through with this concept? Well, my answer to that is that at the time, it was not $10 to register a domain name. He says it cost $10 to register a domain. You didn't do anything. The founders have created their own concept, and now it's a huge giant. Well, yes, it is a big giant, and yes, they have sort of funded this, but they were millionaires. I was not a millionaire. In 1997, when I thought up the idea, it cost $200 a month to host a website, and YouTube cost millions of dollars. What a great undertaking that would have been for somebody who basically had not enough money to eat when he was 18. When I was 18, I ran away from home because, well, I was thrust out by my father. He didn't want me to go to college, and I'd gotten into Carnegie Mellon University. I'm adopted, so he didn't feel he had any financial responsibility and tried to use, you know, tuition as a way to control me. We disagreed on a couple of points. I wanted to get a dorm room. He wanted to give me a car that he had, and it just became this this difficult existence. And you know, that's when I was thinking up the brand, and I didn't have any connections other than Akamai to the tech business, and those people had their own, you know, thing going on, and I certainly wasn't at Harvard like they were. I dropped out of CMU. I had a really rough year, and I just, you know, it doesn't cost $10 to register a domain name back then. It costs that now. Those prices are always going down, and certainly by 2005, maybe I could have bought the domain name, and I sometimes regret that, but I don't really, because had I bought the domain name, I think it would have complicated matters. Maybe it would have worked out in my favor. I really can't tell you. But, you know, that path was not chosen. This path was. The agreement was if they bought the domain name, I would then disclose the rest of the invention for 1%. Chad got very angry and vindictive during the second conversation. He basically told me he was going to screw me at that point. We talked for about 45 minutes that day, maybe an hour. And that's when we went through all of the little realities of what it would mean and what YouTube had to have, the features that had to be there. Okay, for an example, if someone has a concept, let's say of a car powered by water, yeah, it's a really good idea, but it doesn't mean so he's referencing here a common scam, which is a car powered by water. Obviously, hydrogen cars, they are powered sort of by water, but there was an earlier scam about that. Yeah, it's a really good idea, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not going to do anything and tell people and tell people other people, he says. It's really up to who copyrights their name first and who builds the company from a garage to becoming multimillionaires. So they did not build it in a garage. This is a common myth. A garage is a term that merely refers to the beginning stages of a startup company. They actually rented an office above a pizza place, and at Chad's condo, or maybe it was Steve's condo, they already were millionaires. They were already millionaires, multimillionaires. They had $20 million between them in the beginning. They took advantage of somebody who didn't have any money or connections, me. I had some connections, but they're not very strong compared to, like, Peter Thiel, to build a company that I basically laid the groundwork for, and that they have bold-faced lied to you about being the creators of. So YouTube took it to the next level. Yes, it did provide slightly more functionality, but not that much. It didn't take much, but it was a good brand, and it wrapped up a big question mark between the two industries of television and I guess electronic media, or consumer electronics, or whatever. I did not. Well, yeah, I certainly did. If I was the guy, and I am, the person who came up with the brand and logo, obviously I had something to do with it bringing things to another level. If you want to help, why don't you just work for YouTube? Because they will never in a million years hire me because before I sued, they wouldn't hire me because, hey, Chad doesn't want me to be around because I know the truth, that he's not that smart, and he's certainly not that creative. I mean, Alaska, come on. And on the other hand, they're not going to hire me now, ever. I'll never work for Google because that was one of the things I gave up by suing. In fact, not only did I give that up, but my credit score, which I had slowly made better and better to almost 700, which was a major step forward because I had a lot of debt once. My credit score went from 718 to like 490, which is a considerable drop just because I sued Google, Chad and Steve. You took it to the next level, YouTube took it. Or make a video sharing website that is superior. Well, that's not possible. Although I do have a video sharing website, and based on this date, which is September 15th, 2009, apparently he doesn't realize that I do have that. But whatever. What else do we have? I don't know if it's superior, but I certainly made a video sharing website. Unlike YouTube, it doesn't focus so much on comments. Maybe it should, but there's also we just haven't gotten to that yet, I guess. I should probably write that part, but maybe I'll do that this weekend. The commentary and discussion section. We wanted to approach it from a slightly different standpoint, but what's the point? There's already a YouTube. I mean, why would you go and make another video sharing website? I mean, certainly Hulu and Vimeo, but why would I waste my time doing that now that there's so much competition in that market? Of course, I have done it, but it's not the focus of the website I'm building. We had MySpace as a dominating social website, yes, and MySpace dominated Friendster, which was the first one. And now Facebook and Twitter are at the top. Yep. It takes a matter of months to form a company idea and a few years to become mainstream. Yeah, for 1% of companies that start. Or maybe probably even less than 1%. Probably like 1,000th of a percent or something. Because if you think about it, never before has a company risen to the status that YouTube did in such a short time. And that's not because Chad's a genius. It's because I'm a genius. But But it's also because there was already a big amount of money in the web business because Google was big. If YouTube had started in 1999, it probably wouldn't have done that. It would have been a different company. Also, it took them 3 months to make the demo. Then it took like 2 years to get big, and then they sold to Google, which solidified them as a big company, at least for some time. And most companies never become mainstream. They're, like, for instance, my company was, you know, everything that I've done since 2008 has been watched by Google and copied. So anything I do just becomes some other company's, you know, work, and that's true of most companies. They'll make something new, like a UI widget or type of social networking feature, and Facebook will copy it, or you know, some other, you know, Facebook copied MySpace and Friendster, and for whatever irrational reason, Facebook got big. Now stop saying I'm the inventor of YouTube. Well, that's never going to happen. I've seen a ton of blogs where you respond, it's pretty annoying. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to voice my opinion because that's what I do. And also note there were hundreds of websites before YouTube where you can upload videos with almost the same concept. Well, there were. There were thousands of TV websites. You couldn't upload to them, but they had video content, and someone was uploading video. You could upload video in 1997. You could upload video in 1996. It just wasn't very good. Maybe not 1996, but Flash was still getting big then. YouTube was the breakthrough website through hard work and brilliance. No, YouTube was the breakthrough site because maybe of brilliance on my part, but not so much hard work on their part, because, you know, when you pay other people to do your work, you're not really working, are you? And on top of that, it was just money infusion. If somebody gave me $10 million, I'm sure you'd all hear about the brand. The same thing was true of YouTube. They gave away iPods to bribe people. They looked at something and made it better, way better. Well, they took my plan and they implemented it well, and yeah, I did look at other sites in order to get some ideas. You know, there's been forums and BBSs for a very, very long time. I mean, you know, back in 1985, there was CompuServe. There's lots of collaborative online experiences that we can, you know, borrow from. They did not create the video. It seems like they did a lot of work, but the reality is that they didn't do that much work at all. They depended on FFmpeg in the beginning, and that's a totally free project. It's been going on for like 13 years. FFmpeg converts any video file into any other video file. And, you know, I've heard through the FFmpeg people that Jawed and Steve went to them and asked them to add features for them, which they are actually a little bitter about because they were never paid for those features. You can talk about that with the FFmpeg people. But it came from open source. It came from the work of other people. Chad Hurley is gloating in his 2006 or 2007 Zeitgeist talk. He's like, I never did anything. Ha 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 ha. But the truth is that other people work for Chad, and they do the things. They were the ones who flagged videos, and Steve seemed to be a little more involved in the day-to-day operations than Chad did, based on the Viacom depositions and the released emails. And they were very careful not to mention me in any of the emails, but they sort of alluded to me, ha ha ha. They didn't really know what they were building. Yeah, it was just a big magical experience for them. They weren't really sure what they were making, sure. Anyway, these are just other comments. Don't give up. I can't believe he is so selfish. He can't even give you 1% of something that couldn't be created without you. You know, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So there's a lot of different things coming through here, but it seems like a lot of them are kids who just want to say, oh, here we go. So here's Danny X Doom. Let's take a look at her channel or his channel, because you never really know. Let's see, they have 5,000 videos. They've been around since 2009. They're, how old are they? It doesn't say. She wants to be an actress so bad, so you can tell she's a teenager. And she says, you're making a profit off of someone else's work by saying you invented it? And before you say you're not making a profit, then look at your profile picture. Enough said. I don't understand. My profile picture is a picture of me holding up a mug that says I invented YouTube that I paid for. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about. But, you know, you're a teenager, so I don't know. Hopefully you'll grow up. So there's my comments, and my comments on comments, and my commentary on comments And you know, I don't know what to say. Like, as far as, you know, the older people seem to believe me, and the younger people, they're just caught up in it and they don't understand. Let's see here. Evil Cool 333. Let's take a look at let's see, they have uploaded stuff, short clips. This is the guy right here. Here, 5 days ago. So this is what he looks like. So he's like 14 or something, or 15, or maybe 17. He's 19. Okay, or he lied about his age. Let's see. OMG. Yeah. So I guess he's in college because this looks like a crappy dorm room, but it could be his room at home. This is his little brother, so leave me alone. Yeah. So he's a bully too. He bullies his little brother. All right. What else? So, well, according to what I heard you say, that you only came up with the idea of YouTube, you did not program it, therefore you're not the inventor, merely a suggestion to the inventors, the people you accuse of stealing. They invented YouTube, you invented the idea of YouTube, and that is an entirely different concept. And I don't mean to rain on your parade, but legally with no proof whatsoever, they don't owe you a penny, and that's why they cannot and won't own up to the idea or fact of this being true. So okay, that's a really long run-on sentence, but basically he's saying that coming up with the idea for YouTube and the concept and the business plan is not the same thing as inventing it by writing the code. Well, most of the code was taken from other sites or used by open source people, or created by open source people, so I don't really see where that's coming from. Also, Chad paid $9 million to someone who made most of the functionality of the original site anyway, because they didn't really make it. I guess Steve Chen had something to do with it, but he probably played more of an advisory role, you know, planning and stuff. But what else does he say here? He says, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but legally with... Well, thank you very much, Attorney Evil Cool 333, but the bottom line is that it wasn't that I didn't have proof or couldn't find any proof. It was that I wasn't allowed to get proof because they used a tactic called Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11 that basically violates human rights and makes it very difficult for individuals to sue corporations. So let's see here. They don't owe me a penny, and that... Wait. But legally with no proof, they don't owe you a penny, and that's why they cannot and won't own up to the idea. Right, so then that means that he kind of believes maybe it's true that I am the inventor of YouTube, but he's saying also that they're not going to own up to it because they don't legally have to. Well, morally they do have an obligation to people, even if they don't feel that they do. They certainly do. You can deny that you have a moral obligation to society, but you sort of do. Do I expect them to ever make good on their promise? I really don't think so. I don't know. I think that they're pretty disgusting in their lifestyle choices at this point. But if you look, you know, if you feel good about that, or if that makes you feel good that you know, this, that, or the other thing has happened, and someone's been wronged, well, way to stand up for somebody. You know, apparently you're not really into helping victims. I guess you're free to do that. But let's see. Oh yeah. So Valkyr kind of believes me. Chad has this video where he basically calls his coworkers minions.
Hey YouTube, it's Chad Hurley here. Get into the details. I'll let my minion Matt Lou do that.
But you know, it's just contrived, and you can tell he's reading it off the screen. I wrote, "Hey, I invented YouTube," and Valkyr wrote, "Hey, I invented YouTube, then sold it to Google so they can turn it into a shitty advertising platform." And then I wrote back about nopersoncommittee.org. I don't know. There is this video of Chad, Representative Marquis Chad. Hurley. Takes a minute. Where he says, on the flip tide, Sue. He's referring to me.
Correctly to someone. So, stay true to what you believe in. And to not only monetize, but also promote to drive. Hey, it's great to hear that.
Yes.
Have a message reach them directly.
Yes. I mean, I don't think you get credit for all of the new jobs that are being created. And
the 200 jobs that supposedly were made.
It's exciting, unexpected. We would have never expected that 2 years ago when we started this site.
Because
we're starting out of a
being
garage,
modest or
working on this project, and because of that, we were able to compete. And at the same time, consumers had the same ability to upload content to our site, to view content from our site without anyone discriminating against the bits that they were trying to deal with.
Except people did discriminate against the bits that they were trying to deal with, but whatever.
We had digital cameras, we had cell phones, we had videos that we were taking and no place to put them. So we wanted to create a service that we could use, that our friends could use, and we've been really fortunate that a lot of other people had the same need.
So that's where he's saying that, basically, like, that's what they were trying to solve a personal problem. Well, sure, all businesses solve personal problems, and that's required. I mean, why would anybody buy anything that doesn't solve a problem?
What's the key to your success? In 2004, YouTube didn't exist. Now there are hundreds of millions of videos downloaded every day. What is the key to your success?
Keeping things.
So, YouTube did exist in 2004 as a concept.
Thank you for having me today and taking a video of my first appearance.
Because that creates evidence that I'm in with Congress. Let's see here.
Today, Chad Hurley made his historic debut before the United States Congress. Chad, thank you for testifying.
Well, thanks for having me.
I mean, I don't think you get credit for all of the new jobs that are being created in campaigns all across America. I mean, people are being hired just to figure out how to use YouTube.
People are being hired to figure out how to upload a video. I mean, I don't know what to say. But there's one part of this video that I particularly enjoy. It's when Representative Ed Markey says, "Do you even have a vision?"
Be direct. I mean, that's what video is. Independent, even beyond the... I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that. I think we're creating more market opportunities, even beyond directly to someone. So, stay true to what you believe in, and everything else will work itself out. And then, on the flip side, too, if something...
On the flip tide, Sue, there it was.
Be direct. I mean, that's what video provides. You're talking directly to someone. So, stay true to what you believe in, and everything else will work itself out. And then, on the flip side, too, if something...
Let's see that one more time.
Be direct. I mean, that's what video provides. You're talking directly to someone. So, stay true to what you believe in, and everything else will work itself out. And then, on the flip side, too, if something controversial comes up...
on the flip tide, Sue, something controversial comes up. So...
For the industry...
is changing the whole landscape of video in the world. And it is from the living room of Americans to the villages of Africa. And that is something that very few people who have ever lived in the history of the planet can ever say about something that they have invented.
Well, we feel really fortunate, kind of in the right place at the right time, being able to early on focus on some of the things that we felt would make a difference, making it easier for people to get videos into the system. We reformat those videos into Flash so they play back easily for everyone. People didn't have a video solution before. And
well, what do you think the world might look like in 2017? Do you have any vision?
Well, I think it's going to be a spectrum of choices.
So, you based on our conversations here, what I've shown you in comments and what people think about the site, Chad says things that don't fall in line with that. He says that, I don't know, he didn't write any software to convert video. They did not do that. That is not something that they did. I don't know. What else is convincing? Streamies. So a few days before Chad, Chad and I were supposed to get together and have him answer my hard questions, my lawyer's hard questions, on videotape.
Here at the Streamy Awards, honoring excellence in web television, and who more appropriate to speak to than this gentleman here, Chad, with YouTube.
That's right. The little video site.
This little video site, you may have heard about it. Where on earth did you come up with the idea for YouTube?
Well, since this is about the 100th time I answer this question tonight, I'll go through it really quickly.
Give us the
We just simply were looking at problems with video online back in 2005. What annoyed us and how we could remove a lot of the barriers that were involved. Such as the type of video codec that you would have to upload to a site, the type of player that you would need to view the videos, internet speeds.
So it had nothing to do with creating a community. Keep that in mind, that the things that Chad says there are technical things, and you might say, oh well, he's a technical CEO, he works for a tech company, but you know that YouTube is more than a tech company. It's like a community. They've used the term YouTube generation. It's, you know, it's not, oh, we were just trying to figure out how people could upload video easier. No, it wasn't. It was more than that, and that's what made it great. But this is not the clip that I find most telling from that night.
Hi, I'm here with the founder and creator of YouTube, Mr. Chad Hurley. Hello. How can I know you so far? Your afternoon, rather.
Well, the night's just beginning.
That's true.
Afternoon is just ending, but I will, I think I'm going to have a good time tonight. It's going to be fun.
You seem pretty solid, pretty even keel.
Well, I made it through the red carpet area. I survived the gauntlet.
Huge success so far.
I hope so. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see how all these videos end up online.
Okay, we just said we'll see how all these videos end up online, because he thinks he's going to be deposed by my attorneys in like 2 days. And, you know, it was our goal to, you know, reveal the truth through those depositions. And that, it just angers me because I never got the chance to do that. Then there's this one.
So you are the founder of YouTube. How did that happen?
Well, we registered a domain, we built a website, and then we told people to upload videos. A 3-step process, really easy.
Now, that's a pompous and arrogant condensation of what happened. I mean, that's just, you know, they're on the red carpet. He's allowed to be, I guess, a little egotistical there, but, you know, people in mainstream TV were making fun of this award show. But that doesn't answer the question, how did you come up with that, or where did you come up with that? He was like, oh, I just registered a domain name, and like, it was fine.
Do you ever expect
It's an oversimplification.
it to be the phenomenon that it is now?
You can never expect that.
Nah, you wouldn't want to start a company to get famous and rich. Nobody does that.
I mean, we had our master plan on the whiteboard.
A master plan that I provided him. Well, take care, guys. Ladies, everybody. I hope you realize the truth here. And I really have very little else to share with YouTube other than the truth. I spent a lot of time working on my own websites, trying to start my own company, buy my own house, get out of my ghetto. I'm not a millionaire. I'm worth about negative $36,000, and I'm adopted. You know, I'm poor. I've been poor my whole life. Take care.